I'm going to show you how to use a paintbrush. Now this paintbrush right here is a pretty big paintbrush. It's going to hold a lot of paint. And you might want a thinner brush with a more of a taper, or one with an angle for going against trim. That might make it a little easier on you. But this is the one I like. You got to figure out which brush you like. Now painting against something is not like just swashing it on with the paintbrush. You can steer the paintbrush like a car. You put your bristles on, get your paint off. If you twist it, you notice how there's a crisp line. Look, I twist that paintbrush, and there's a crisp line there. And it's just the very edge of the bristles touching. See how that is? It's a nice crisp line going down. Now, I put the brush on the paint on the wall, and then I push the brush in and then pull it back until the bristles touch this side of the trim, and then pull it down, just like that. All right. Now, a little bit harder thing to do would be like going against a ceiling. The ceiling's white. And the wall's a different color. So if you get any paint on that ceiling, you're gonna notice it. So I'm just gonna bend it down, get the bulk of the paint off of the brush. Take the tips, I'm kind of bending the bristles like that so that it comes up. I'm watching which way they go. I'm going right across and just cutting it across the ceiling like that. Just like that. Then I'm gonna turn it sideways, come back and forth, come in and spread it out to where my roller will touch it. Just like that. I can paint with a tip too, just one corner. Just like that. And there we're top of doors. You're not gonna see the top of this trim, so you don't have to be quite so careful with that. You just put that on. You can just put that paint right on there, just like that. You can just work your way back and forth. Brush, tilt, pull it down. Make your contact with your bristle as you're bending your brush, just like that, and then come back and pull back and forth, just like that. It's like steering a car. Now we got corners. Corners are a little more difficult, especially like up by the ceiling. So I'm gonna put my brush in. I'm just gonna push it up to the corner into a point like that, bending it. I'll pull down. I'll come back over here and twist it and pull, just like that. It's all how you twist the brush. It's like steering a car. You see, you twist it like that, and you get a point up at the top. Twist it like this, and you get a square point coming across to make a line. And then you kind of just like blend it in. So pretty much just kind of like steering. Always stick your paint, put it like on the wall a little bit, so it's not too much on the bristle when you're going up against the ceiling. You just kind of pull it on back, just like that. Get a little bit more paint. Get it up on your wall, pull it down. Just come back and forth across, just like that. Just like that. Up in the corners. Not being too much worried about being careful over top of the door, because you never see that on top of that trim. And paint on the wall. And get your point, kind of like twist the brush and pull with your line. Come back down here and grab your paint that you dropped on the wall and pull it across. And that's how you steer a paintbrush. As simple as hell. Look at that. On corners, you don't want to drag it across the corner, because if you do, you'll get that run. So on corners, outside corners like that, come back, pull, and always brush away from the corner or towards the corner. But don't go over the corner and pull, because you'll get this line. And most of the time, you're not going to see it till it's dry, and then ain't no getting rid of it, really. That's it. That's how you use a paintbrush. I'll do another corner real quick so you can see again. Now, I'm not going to say anything. You just sit there and watch how we steer the brush to get this. Now, if you get a little bit on the ceiling when you're doing this, go get a wet rag real quick and wipe it off. Don't let it dry on there, because you might think you can put a little bit of ceiling white over the spot and it's going to go away. But that's kind of hard to do when the sun's hitting it and paint fades. And you put a little bit of white on top of a spot on the ceiling, and it don't match, it stands out because the white's changed through the years because it's faded. So a lot of times when you're doing paint, you may have an old can of leftover paint left over, and you're trying to match a color. You come in and paint part of a wall, and it doesn't match. And it's the same paint. It doesn't match because the wall's faded. So if you're painting a wall that's in the sun, it's better for you to go ahead and take a sample of the paint and have it scanned so you can get a color, the faded color. Unless you're going to paint the whole room, then it doesn't matter. There it is. Once you get it down, you can just kick ass going right on around the ceiling like that, just rocking it. That's it.